House of LaBeija is a ballroom house. It's the first ballroom house that was created by Crystal LaBeija in the late 1960s, and then she threw her first ball with Lottie LaBeija in 1972 in Harlem, New York City. And she did that out of a need to create spaces that are safe to celebrate trans women of color, especially at that time politically. It was just it was dangerous and scary to be trans art. Similar to what it is like right now, actually. And she created these balls where people could come and be glamorous and be celebrated for their queerness and also create community. And the Royal House of LaBeija is that legacy of starting a movement where spaces are created where people can be themselves unapologetically.
The House of LaBeija has chapters all over the world, in Europe, in Asia, in all over America, and we in 2023 established the South African chapter of the House of LaBeija, Mother LaBeija, and we have Father LaBeija, my partner Ray, and we have 2 children, soon to be 3, and that's the South African chapter of the House of LaBeija at the moment. The Crystal Ball is in honor of Crystal LaBeija, working with Legacy, who is Rory's baby, the ball that he's created for the Cape Town ballroom scene. They invited us to host Legacy this time around, and we are honoring the legacy of Crystal LaBeija.
So Legacy, when I thought of it initially, was basically a love letter to my late mother, Kelvin Fontaine, Laka. And it was a way for me coming into being father of the House of Laka to put a ball on, or to host the functions post Kelvin's passing, because during that time we were recovering from a big period, and it was like the rebirth of what Laka was going to be, not just for myself as the new father, but like for the rest of the kids, and then also was for the community as well. So essentially it was the glue that was going to bring everything together, make everything make sense. And it was just me trying to put all of that into one vision, I would say. And as we've done Legacy, and as it's grown and become bigger, I think the need for community now is the most important thing. So I think Legacy, the way it's grown, and the doors it's opened up, not just for myself, but for other people as well, for other houses as well. Like today, we're going to be hosting for the very first time Legacy collaboration with the Royal House of LaBeija South African chapter, and our continued partnership with Edition Events has made all of this possible. And I think it's a really important and it's a really special event that's going to take place moving forward, because a lot of the focus now is going to be on uplifting the community, not just the queer community, but the ballroom community specifically, where we're going to try and get international eyes on us. For my vision for Legacy moving forward is to use Legacy as the vessel, or like the catalyst to everything that happens after that. Just in terms of like us now having secured a sponsorship with Puma, that is something we've never had before, and it's just given the community, like we are able to give back to the community.
Hi, so Edition Events, it's an events company created in Cape Town in 2020 during the pandemic. Created Edition Events in a time where it was not really a space for the young creative to express themselves. So Edition Events was born to create space for artists, music, art, to just have a space, a platform to be. Arty Collective has been created as more like a house, in a way that's a constant space to be performing, because Edition Events is more like an event company organizing the event, and Arty Collective is the space where we host the event, if that makes sense. And since the 2020, we have been building the space in many different ways. We have moved to a different location to keep having a ball hosting, to keep having space where we can have different type of event for everyone. Means When I mean everyone, I mean an inclusive space.
It's a very important collaboration, and it came at a time where I feel like we needed a bit of a change, a different outlook, a different point of view. And I think now with the ballroom community growing, we needed to take it back to ballroom, like take it back to where did ballroom start. We know where House of La Cabre started, and that has been the narrative. But now we want to take it to where did it all begin? Like, who did it begin with? And I think the reason why it's so important to do it with the House of Libasia, because the Royal House of Libasia in New York, they were the first house ever. They created ballroom culture. And so I think it's important for us, while we have the House of Libasia here, South African chapter, we need to give you guys the platform in order for you guys to tell your story as well. Because yes, House of La Cabre and Curvin did initiate ballroom, and they started the movement here in Cape Town. But since that time, since their passing, since the continuation of the house, there's been other houses that have come up, other chapters that have opened here. So I think it's time for us to take it back and to look, within the community and say, okay, what can you tell us about your house? Where did your house start? And I think starting with the House of Libasia is the perfect choice. And it also comes at a time where the House of Libasia in New York, they have a monument set up now where they are also encouraging people from all around the world to also do their research.
Crystal Libasia Monument Initiative started by the Royal House of Libasia in New York City, and they are doing a monument and a bust of Crystal Libasia that is currently in the New York City Museum, and it's going to be there for the next 10 months since April 2025. And it's a monument to Crystal Libasia and her impact on ballroom culture and queer culture. So that will be coming out as after it leaves the New York City Museum, where they're currently doing a exhibition on social dance through the ages. So they've got all types of dance, and Vogue dance is in there as well, folk style dancing, and they've got an interactive exhibit at the museum. And Crystal Libasia's bust will also be there at the museum.
So Edition 11 came as an ally to the queer community since 2021 to be a space, like I would say we're in one of those books from the board, we kind of like chapter 9. We're coming to here to produce the board. We collaborate with the house, so they come with the team, they come with the concept, and then we just apply. So we apply to make sure the space stays safe, to make sure the decor is right, the production is right. We basically answer the need to make this possible.
We're starting off with Best Dress. The theme for Best Dress is furs and jewels. Crystal Libasia was a huge fur fanatic. She had up to, I think, 16 or 15 fur coats that she wore regularly. We are paying tribute to her through that by saying everyone needs to come in their best fur and jewels look. Then our next category is Drag King Face, followed by Drag Queen Face. We decided to do Drag Face because Crystal made a name for herself during the 1960s in the Manhattan drag scene, and we're paying tribute to her in that sense by asking for Drag Face. And we decided to incorporate Drag King Face because we have a very big drag king community here in Cape Town. That's a big part of our ballroom community as well. So we're giving them a bit of a honor there as well. And then we have Runway. Runway is show your color, darling. We want to see kaleidoscope, rainbow looks, and it's all about being prideful and in your color. From one of Crystal's biggest quotes is, "You will see my color, darling." So we wanted people to show their color.
The realness category at this particular ball is a trans bodies only category. Historically it was for trans bodies, but it has also opened up in ballroom history to non-trans bodies to do things like passing as straight, passing as a kind of corporate figure. So we've combined trans body realness, which means basically using the gender binary and the concept of the data idea of passing to sort of be safe in the world, and the idea of executive realness, which is about passing as someone who could be in a sort of white-collar corporate job. And this was actually about class passing. So going, I may not have a job because queer people are discriminated against in the workplace, but I can play having a job. I can play the secretary, I can play the CEO, I can play the bookish librarian even. It doesn't have to just be in the corporate world, but just the idea of playing, having a job, because jobs are kept away from us.
Then we have Sex Siren. The interesting fact is that Crystal LeBeija was actually a dominatrix. She was very into that scene. That's how she made a lot of her money and while she was living in New York. Therefore, we're also honoring Crystal by bringing in Sex Siren and claiming that power of our sexuality and our strength in that. And we're ending the night off with Vogue Open to All the Way New Way, and Vogue Femme is Welcome. Vogue is a standard in any scene. We could not have an honor to Crystal without the Vogue category.
I think now that I've established the love letter to Malek Mabel, I think moving forward, this legacy itself will be a love letter to the community, inviting people in from all walks of life, whether you're, obviously, it's for the queer community first, but it's also there for everybody. Because I remember Kerwin saying this multiple times, is that yes, this is a queer event, but it's an event for everybody, and Ballroom really is for everybody. Once you understand Ballroom and once you can respect Ballroom, then you can fully understand what it is